It takes a lot to unite all corners of the gaming industry, but Unity has officially done that with their astonishingly bad changes to the pricing for the use of its game engine, and developers large and small are now promising to boycott Unity going forward if they don't reconsider their major plans. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. Now, it says Unity, a company that makes a suite of video game development tools, has recently sparked a major controversy in the industry after announcing changes to its pricing model. Now, this has blown up on social media. I think everybody in the industry is talking about it, but if you do not already know, there are major changes that are going into effect on January 1st, 2024. Developers were concerned that they'd be hit with huge bills come that date, but Unity did make it clear that while it will take a game's previous sales and downloads into account, it will only charge devs based on activity after that date. So with the new changes, for example, if you, a Unity personal subscriber, have a game that has made $200,000 and has 200,000 downloads by January 1st, you will be subject to the new fees, but only on downloads made after January 1st. And if you do not already know, there are different prices per install, but the average price, the standard monthly rate, is about 20 cents per install. So that is what they are now charging game developers. And this, of course, is causing such a massive wave because there are a lot of indie developers who do use Unity, and now they are going to be charged, 20 cents per install. If their game happens to blow up, they're going to owe a hefty fee to Unity going forward. And it says sentiment regarding the new pricing has been largely negative, with reports of death threats to the company as developers and video game professionals respond on social media with calls for Unity to reconsider, since the changes could threaten the already thin profits of indie games. Now, of course, it is never okay to send death threats to a company. The people who are receiving these threats may not even be the people who made these decisions. People do not deserve to have their lives threatened simply because of a pricing structure change, but at the same time, I do understand that people are upset. Again, that doesn't, make it okay to send death threats to the company or the individuals that work there. This is very clearly a response from people who are extremely worried about the situation, extremely upset over the situation, and there are, of course, people who are always going to push a line and do things that are wildly inappropriate, but it says developers are concerned that Unity has implemented these changes unilaterally, violating trust while offering virtually no time for developers to prepare for the potential costs. I mean, yes, it is only a few months away, and apparently developers knew nothing about this. It's not like behind the scenes, they were told, hey, in the next few months, we're going to be announcing these major changes. We value you. We wanted to give you an update and ask any questions, privately. They didn't do anything like that. So there are a lot of developers who feel very blindsided by this. It says, though, many developers have spoken out against the change, urging Unity to retract the new model or risk indie developers porting their games to other engines. Now, I personally don't see Unity changing course. I think that they are very clearly not targeting indie developers, and while this obviously screws over indie developers, in my opinion, this was a shot at Gatcha games. Look at the titles that are on Unity and the insane amounts of money that they make. Yes, you have things like Hollow Knight and Silksong, which they care about since the first game made over $100 million. You also have Cuphead, but then you get into mobile titles like Pokemon Go, which has made over $5 billion worldwide. Then things like Genshin Impact, which made over $4 billion by the end of 2022 and was earning $1 billion every 4 to 6 months. Among Us, another game, is estimated to have made over $200 million $1 at the height of when it was blowing up, and who knows now. Fall Guys has also made over $200 million because of how it blew up in the gaming industry, and these are all titles made with Unity. Hearthstone, which has made over $1.7 billion by 2020, and we don't have any updated numbers, but you can see the money that they feel like they are missing out on. Of course, then you have a lot of, mid-tier games, like I mentioned, like Hollow Knight. I classify that as a mid-tier game with $100 million. I do think that estimate is a little bit on the low side. There are estimates going up to like 300 million, but regardless, you also have things like Magic the Gathering Arena, which has made $250 million. I do not see this as a slight towards indie game developers, but at these major gacha and mobile titles that use Unity, they are viewing this as, wow, we are losing out on a hell of a lot of money by not charging them per install, and it's just unfortunate that a casualty of this are indie developers, because there is a major indie scene behind Unity, and I, as a just a normal consumer, feel very bad for these indie devs who are now going to be affected by this. But it has actually gotten so many people to band together. There are a lot of larger developers who are standing with the indies that are being, hit by this, saying, this really sucks. We're really sorry to hear that you're going through this. And then, of course, the indies who are being, hurt by this are speaking out, saying, we're going to boycott Unity going forward. We will remake our game on something else if we have to. We are no longer going to be supporting Unity, and it is causing a storm in the industry. Now, of course, I cannot sit here and read every single statement from every single developer, but there are a few major ones I want to show off, like from Red Hook, which makes Darkest Dungeon. They came out and said, much like Darkest Dungeon, game development is a dynamic and challenging effort where tough choices must be made from using imperfect information. Making and releasing a game is an uncertain endeavor with treasures never guaranteed, but that certainty should lie in the marketplace, not with fundamental business terms around which a project was built. We believe Unity has made a grave misstep in introducing a poorly thought out fee mechanic and then compounded that threshold by making it apply to games that have already been released. Part of game development is knowing when a mechanic is not working and then having the courage to swallow your ego and undo the mistake. We call on Unity to recant this blunder. We also have Megacrit, who makes Slay the Spire, saying the team has been hard at work over these past 2+ years on a new game, but unlike with Slay the Spire, the engine we have been developing, it is in Unity. The retroactive pricing structure is not only harmful in a myriad of ways to developers, especially indies, it is also a violation of trust. We have never made a public statement before. That is how badly you fucked up. And after seeing all of these statements, I don't see a way that they are going to win a lot of these developers back. There are going to be developers who are never going to trust them now. So even if they reverse course tomorrow and they apologize and they say, we're so sorry for breaking your trust, we're not going through with this, there are going to be people who are going to say, yeah, well, you know what? You completely fucked up and I would never trust you at this point. And so they are going to ultimately lose customers. They are going to lose these developers. And while we have not seen them completely reverse course yet, I have a feeling that maybe they will try to lower the costs and raise the threshold so that indies are less affected. But yes, I mean, this has absolutely ignited the gaming industry. There's so much going on now just because of Unity. So many developers saying that they are going to boycott them going forward. They're not going to work with their tools anymore. They are not going to use them anymore. And I do think that Unity is in a very bad situation that, hey, they put themselves in. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.